Nico Williams to Barcelona. Forget it. Just a few months ago, everyone was talking about him. The future of Spanish football, the key player in the Euros, the unstoppable winger who left defenders on the ground with his speed. The footballer who already had the number 11 shirt at Barca. But today, complete silence. No one mentions Nico Williams. He has disappeared, and with good reason. His level has plummeted. He is nowhere near as decisive as he was last season. Meanwhile, Raphinha, the winger who was practically out of Barcelona, who at the start of the season had 1 foot out of the club, is now the best winger in La Liga. His impact on the team has been brutal. Goals, assists, leadership. And now he's even a candidate for the Ballon d'Or. 2 wingers, 2 completely opposite stories. One who seemed destined for Barca's glory but has collapsed, and another who is written off and is now a star. What really happened to Nico Williams? Is it his fault or the athletic club's? Why is Raphinha silencing his critics? Let's break it down. What happened to the player Barcelona was willing to give everything for? The one who was supposedly going to push Raphinha out of Barcelona and take his number? Even Laporta got Barca fans excited.
Una salutació, president.
El Barça.
Fitxarem...
El Barça us doni moltes alegries.
Exacte, fitxarem a Nico Williams o no? Així m'agrada.
Talking about Nico Williams is not talking about just any player. It's about one of the most electrifying wingers in world football, a natural dribbler, a player with a deadly change of pace and an impressive shot. He was one of Spain's key players in their Euro victory. Throughout the tournament, he drove every opposing defence crazy. Last season, he was also crucial in winning the Copa del Rey, providing an assist in the quarter-finals against Barca, and scoring a stunning goal that secured victory for the Basques. He then led Bilbao to the final against Mallorca, lifting the Copa del Rey after 40 years. He was the team's offensive leader. With unstoppable dribbles, precise assists and crucial goals, he guided Athletic to the final and became the tournament's MVP. His shooting, attitude and ability to break defensive lines made the difference. Last season, Nico Williams was a spectacle. His dribbling tore defences apart. His ability to beat his man seemed unstoppable, and his intelligence in setting up teammates made him a constant threat. He was a player that couldn't be contained, and he proved it in the biggest moments. If Spain conquered Euro 2024, Nico Williams had a lot to do with it. Game after game, he was a nightmare for opposing defences. His best performance came against Georgia in the round of 16. He became the first player born in the 21st century to start a Euro match, score, assist, and complete every pass. The last time something similar happened was in 1980. In addition to being a constant threat down the left flank, he provided the assist for Rodri's opening goal and scored the third, securing Spain's victory. He completed all 46 passes he attempted, took 5 shots on goal, successfully dribbled past his marker 3 times out of 8 attempts, and made 4 key passes that led to dangerous chances. There's no doubt about it, Nico Williams was one of the best wingers in the world last season, not just because of his numbers, but because of his impact on the game. A player who never hides, who steps up in big matches, and who, when inspired, is simply unstoppable. The question is, what happened this season? But before we get into that, we need to take a step back in time. His family's story. Nicolas Williams Arthur was born on July 12, 2002, in Pamplona. His parents, Felix Williams and Maria Comfort Arthur, are originally from Ghana and arrived in Spain as refugees. The couple, who met in the 1990s, emigrated in search of a better life, initially intending to settle in the United Kingdom. However, a friend suggested they go to Spain instead, claiming it would be a cheaper journey. This turned out to be a lie. In 1994, Nico Williams' parents embarked on a dangerous journey from Ghana to Europe, hoping for a better future. His mother was pregnant with Iñaki when they crossed the Sahara, travelling over 5,000 kilometres to Morocco. During this ordeal, the truck they were travelling in, controlled by a human trafficking network, abandoned them in the middle of the desert. With no water or food, they were forced to walk barefoot under extreme heat, reaching temperatures of 50 degrees Celsius. To this day, they bear scars from the burns on their feet. Upon reaching Melilla, they attempted to cross the border fence into Spain but were detained by the civil guard. Lacking documentation, they were sent directly to prison.
Entonces era voluntario de Caritas Migrantes. Como sabía inglés, pues me pusieron en el grupo de acogida y me tocó ir a recibir.
There, an attorney from Caritas who spoke English explained that their only chance to avoid deportation was to declare they were from a war-torn country. So they destroyed their Ghanaian passports and claimed to be Liberian refugees seeking asylum. Nico grew up in a humble environment. His family settled in Arot Sapia, a working-class neighbourhood in Pamplona, where they lived in social housing. His father Felix worked various jobs, from shepherding to construction cleaning, and at one point, when he was unemployed, he had to move to London in search of work. Meanwhile, his mother, Maria, took on up to 3 jobs to provide for her children. His father's absence meant that Iñaki, the eldest son, played a key role in raising Nico. He was responsible for taking him to school, to training, and even looking after him at home.
La verdad es que mi hermano siempre ha estado ahí para mí, ¿no? Al final ha sido un referente para mí, siempre ha estado detrás mío, intentando aconsejarme lo máximo posible, lo mejor posible. Al final, pues él llega al primer equipo o le veía en las categorías inferiores del Atleti, y pues yo también quería llegar a ese nivel.
From an early age, Nico stood out in Osasuna's youth academy, showcasing his incredible speed and technical ability. The Williams family's fortunes changed when Iñaki, at 16 years old, signed with Athletic Club. While he began his career in Bilbao, Nico, only 8 at the time, stayed in Pamplona with his mother, as his father remained in London working. 3 years later, Athletic saw potential in Nico as well, allowing the entire family to reunite in Bilbao. In 2014, when Iñaki made his first team debut, he called his father and asked him to return from London.
Pues soy obviamente bonito, ¿no?, de ver a un futbolista tan joven.
Estaba nervioso, justo me había dicho el día anterior Ernesto que si estaba nervioso que me quitara los nervios, que tenía toda la noche para quitar los nervios, que al día siguiente iba a jugar de titular, me dijo. Y me acuerdo que llamé a mi madre, a mis amigos y les dije, voy a jugar titular, tenéis que venir a asomarme.
Finally, the 4 of them settled together in a home, and that's when their parents decided to tell them the truth about how they arrived in Spain. For years, to protect them from suffering, they had told their children that they had travelled from Ghana by plane. The revelation was a shock for the brothers, who at that moment understood the hardship their parents had endured and the privilege they had been given.
Mi madre ha sufrido mucho, ¿no? Andar por el desierto descalza, muchas cosas que no le desearía a nadie, y al final aquí nadie viene a robar a nadie, ¿no? Venimos a tener un pan, a tener un techo, a tener un mejor futuro para tus hijos y para ti. Y mi madre ha sufrido mucho, es una luchadora, todo lo que hago es por ella, por mi padre también, que también ha luchado como el que más, se fue a Londres para poder tener que tengamos alimento, y mi hermano y mi madre, se ha partido el lomo por nosotros.
On April 28th, 2021, Nico made his debut with the Athletic Club first team in a La Liga match against Real Valladolid, coming on as a substitute in the second half. This match was significant, as he shared the field with his brother Iñaki, making them the first pair of brothers to play together for the club since the Salinas brothers in 1986.
Muy diferente, el ver a tu hermano en la tele y verlo en la realidad es chocante, porque al fin y al cabo hemos querido jugar juntos, y verlo en la tele ha sido como wow, y ya en el campo ya es muy especial para mí.
His first goal for Athletic came on January 6th, 2022, when he scored a brace in a 2-0 victory over Atlético Mancha Real in the Copa del Rey. A week later, he netted the decisive goal in the Supercopa de España semi-final against Atlético de Madrid, securing a spot in the final.
Nico Williams!
Where unfortunately they lost 2-0 to Real Madrid. The 2022 to 2023 season was a turning point in his career. Under the guidance of Ernesto Valverde, Nico established himself as a starter, delivering standout performances in multiple matches and earning recognition from both fans and critics. His impressive displays caught the attention of the national team coach, and in September 2022, he received his first call-up to the Spanish national team. He made his debut on September 24th, 2022, in a UEFA Nations League match against Switzerland. Later, he was included in Spain's squad for the 2022 FIFA World Cup, where he played in 4 matches. But the 2023 to 2024 season was particularly outstanding for Nico Williams. He increased his numbers to 8 goals and 16 assists, actively contributing to Ernesto Valverde's attacking setup. As we mentioned, he was key to winning the Copa del Rey with Athletic Bilbao after 40 years. At that point, speculation about his departure had already begun.
Ahora estoy pensando en disfrutar, aquí me quedan muchos años, estoy tranquilo, con ganas de que llegue la vuelta a Bilbao para celebrarla con nuestra gente y bueno, contento de estar aquí.
He was also crucial in the Euro 2024 alongside Lamine Yamal, scoring the opening goal in the final against England and being named man of the match. These individual and team achievements earned him 15th place in the 2024 Ballon d'Or rankings, and from that moment on, discussions about his future intensified.
Había mucho foco sobre ti porque habías sido como una de las estrellas de la Eurocopa, ¿no? Como momento súper pico de mediático y tal, y de pronto la movida del fichaje, claro, ahí final de verano difícil, ¿eh?
Sí, difícil. Encima los cabrones de Lamine, Valde y toda esta gente no ayudaban,
¿Qué decían?
Buah, vente ya, hermano, vente ya, vente ya.
Everyone was asking him about his future, yet he constantly avoided the question.
Nico está en el más alto ahora mismo en la Eurocopa.
Bueno, yo estoy contento, ¿no? Estoy enfocado en el Atleti, estoy enfocado en la Eurocopa, estoy enfocado en todo lo que tiene que ser el fútbol y bueno, lo que tenga que ser ya será.
He was the perfect signing, young, talented, Spanish, an elite dribbler and a Euro 2024 champion. Everything pointed to Nico Williams becoming Barcelona's big reinforcement for the 2024 to 2025 season. There were even mock-ups of Raphinha's jersey with Nico's name on it.
He tenido contactos, por ejemplo, con Raphinha, todo esto que pasó, toda la movida hasta que hubo, que como que habían dicho que ibas a reemplazarle y tal. Él le habló el otro día de esto y tal. ¿Tú?
Sí, ya vi. No le di mucha importancia. Al final sí que es verdad que él está ahí, está disfrutando y está haciendo las cosas bien. Yo me alegro también por él, que
sí, claro,
le siga haciendo las cosas bien y que el Barça le va bien también. O sea, no tengo ningún tipo de rencor.
Ya.
No sé,
bueno,
todo bien.
But in the end, Barcelona prioritised Dani Olmo, and Nico renewed his contract with Athletic Club, inheriting the number 10 jersey. It seemed like the best decision considering Barcelona's financial struggles. Nico became the team's offensive leader, the player expected to lead the new era of Athletic Bilbao. But today the reality is completely different. His form has plummeted, his numbers are far from last season's, and while he struggles, Raphinha is emerging as one of Europe's best wingers. Raphinha, the best winger in La Liga. Unlike Nico Williams, the standout La Liga winger this season is Raphinha, who is currently experiencing the best form of his career under Hansi Flick at Barcelona. Raphinha hasn't just reached elite status, but he has also solidified himself as one of the best wingers in the world, leading Barcelona's attack and becoming an absolute reference for the team match after match. How did Raphinha go from rejected to world class? Unlike Nico, how do you explain that a player who last season played with frustration and desperation in a team that wasn't winning anything, and with a coach who constantly made excuses?
Mi sensación hoy es de injusticia máxima, es decir, lo ha visto todo el mundo, esta es mi sensación, de que no ha sido justo hoy el encuentro, hoy no ha sido justo.
Has completely transformed into what he is today. Raphinha has gone from being a discouraged and directionless player after the controversy surrounding his potential replacement by Nico Williams.
Una broma un poco de mal gusto, mi opinión. Al final creo que la gente tiene que respetar a los jugadores que están en el club. Estamos ahí durante toda la temporada haciendo nuestro mejor y al final ver una foto como esta no te sale muy bien, a mí no me ha salido bien porque al final siento que fue un poco de falta de respeto conmigo, con mi trabajo.
To becoming a leader on the pitch, a player with ironclad mentality, inspiring all of Barcelona.
Un gol mortífero, señores. Un recontragolazo para el quinto de Barcelona.
To understand Raphinha's ability to reinvent himself, we have to go back to his origins, just like we did with Nico. Raphinha's tough journey from Brazil to Europe. Raphinha, whose full name is Rafael Dias Beloli, was born on December 14th, 1996, in Restinga, a dangerous neighbourhood in Porto Alegre, Brazil. Like many footballers from the favelas, he grew up surrounded by crime, drugs and violence, where taking the wrong path was an easy escape. But Raphinha never lost sight of his goal, mainly due to the values and discipline instilled by his family. It was thanks to my family that I never dropped out of school or took the wrong path. I am here because of them. Raphinha chose to carve out his own destiny. He once admitted, "I walked alongside people who were getting lost. I lost a lot of friends to crime, friends who were 10 times better at football than me and could have been playing for some of the biggest clubs in the world." His story is a reminder that football isn't just about talent, it's about mentality, resilience, and fighting for a dream. From a very young age, Raphinha joined one of the youth teams of Grêmio in Porto Alegre, an environment where excellence and competitiveness were the norm. However, at just 9 years old, young Rafa suffered a major emotional setback. He was cut by the club's youth coaches, who considered him too physically weak, labelling him miradinho, a term that stuck with him throughout his career. But he never gave up. No matter how difficult his situation was, Rafa always gave his best effort, and that determination gradually led him to the greatest club on the planet. After passing through numerous small clubs in Porto Alegre, both in football and futsal, Raphinha was forced to leave his hometown and move to Santa Catarina, 330 kilometers away, in pursuit of his dream to make it to the elite level of Brazilian football. After a brief stint in Sao Paulo with Audax, he found his breakthrough at Avaí, where he excelled in the youth teams, showcasing his immense potential. It was during this period that the figure of Deco, recently retired from football and already working as an agent, became a beacon of hope and opportunity for him. The time had come to take the leap to Europe, without even making his professional debut in Brazil, and Portugal became the next step in his path to the top. In 2016, he moved to Vitória Guimarães, where he started with the reserve team, but quickly broke into the first squad during the 2016 to 2017 season, scoring 4 goals and providing 6 assists in 32 matches. His second season saw him emerge as one of the breakout stars of Portuguese football, finishing with 15 goals and 5 assists. This explosion of talent caught the attention of one of Portugal's biggest clubs, Sporting CP, where, despite some injuries, he recorded 4 goals and 4 assists in a single season. In August 2019, Rennes took a €21 million gamble on him, hoping to bolster their squad for a Champions League campaign in League One. A rising star in the Premier League, 1 year later, Raphinha made another big move, joining Leeds United in a transfer orchestrated by Victor Orta, who capitalised on Rennes' need to sell and secured one of the most promising young wingers in Europe. His impact in England was nothing short of spectacular. He became a star for Leeds, single-handedly keeping them in the Premier League and opening the doors for him to the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Over 2 seasons in the English top flight, the Brazilian scored 17 goals and provided 12 assists in 67 appearances. The summer of 2022 turned into a full-blown bidding war, with Barcelona ultimately outbidding Chelsea and Arsenal to secure his signature.
El club, pensem doncs, que torna al jogo bonito al Barça.
At 25 years old, Raphinha arrived at Camp Nou at a crucial moment, one that would change his life forever. However, his first 2 seasons under Xavi Hernandez were filled with struggles. The explosive winger who had shined at Leeds seemed to have disappeared in Catalonia. He couldn't beat defenders. His goal-scoring touch seemed off. And although his performances improved significantly in the 2023 to 2024 season, speculation continued that Joan Laporta, Xavi, and the entire Barcelona fan base wanted him out. Then, ahead of the 2024 to 2025 season, the great controversy over Nico Williams' jersey number emerged. However, Raphinha overcame the situation and responded on the pitch with the best performances of his career. And now, with Nico Williams not joining Barcelona, Raphinha has fully exposed the Euro 2024 hero. If a few months ago someone had said that Raphinha would be the best winger in La Liga, few would have believed it. At the start of the season, many saw him as an expendable player and his continuity at Barcelona was in doubt. But today, the story is completely different. If the season ended now, Raphinha would be a strong candidate for the Ballon d'Or. In 38 matches, he has already scored 24 goals and provided 18 assists. But it's not just about the numbers. He has far exceeded his stats from last season and has become one of Barcelona's most decisive players. He scores in crucial matches, delivers key assists, and takes on a leadership role, playing a fundamental part in the team's mentality. Raphinha has completely taken over the spotlight. While Nico Williams has faded, Raphinha has exploded. He's gone from being on the verge of leaving the club to becoming one of the brightest stars in world football. And this raises a serious question. Do Barcelona even need to sign Nico Williams? Just a few months ago, his move to the Blaugrana seemed almost certain. His performances in the European Championship and his key role in Athletic Club's Copa del Rey triumph made him one of the most dangerous wingers in Spanish football. But today, everything has changed. The rumours of his signing have disappeared. No one is even mentioning him in Barcelona's transfer conversations anymore, and the main reason has a name. Raphinha. The Brazilian has taken his game to another level, delivering world-class numbers, which has pushed Nico Williams from being a transfer priority to being completely out of the picture. Nico is still an important player for Athletic. He continues to create danger and breakthrough defences. But when compared to a player who is closing games, scoring in crucial moments, and dominating La Liga, perceptions shift. And let's be honest, Nico isn't even close to the level that Barcelona's captain is showing. While Raphinha has scored 24 goals and provided 18 assists in 38 matches this season, the Athletic number 10 has only found the net 6 times and provided 7 assists in 32 matches. What happened? Last season, he had 16 goals and 5 assists and put in an incredible campaign. Could that have been the peak of Nico's career? Okay, maybe that was a bit unfair, but let's compare his numbers to the top attackers in his position in La Liga. Vinicius Jr., 17 goals, 10 assists in 34 matches. Rodrigo, 12 goals, 8 assists. Lamine Yamal, 11 goals, 17 assists. Takefusa Kubo, 7 goals, 3 assists. To be blunt, Nico Williams is performing like an average player, but wait a second. None of these players, not even Raphinha, compare to the real GOAT. Okay, maybe that was a bit too far, but the point is, right now, Nico is nowhere near the decisive player he was last season. Now, let's think hypothetically. What would have happened if Nico had actually joined Barcelona? It's an interesting question. If Nico Williams had signed for Barcelona in the 2024 to 2025 season, he would have fit well into Hansi Flick's system. His profile is perfect for the German coach's style. Fast, vertical, explosive in one-on-one situations, ideal for breaking defensive lines and attacking spaces behind defenders. In the best-case scenario, he would have been a winger similar to Lamine Yamal, a tricky dribbler with pace and creativity, but still needing time to reach his full potential. But here's the big question. Would he have been able to reach Raphinha's numbers this season? The answer is clear. No. Raphinha's influence on this Barcelona goes far beyond goals and assists. His game is a unique blend of defensive work rate, technique, and offensive production, something no other winger in the squad can offer. He doesn't just attack, he defends too. While most wingers tend to switch off when they don't have the ball, Raphinha is relentless. He presses high, recovers possession, supports the fullbacks, and constantly moves to create space. Flick has utilised him to perfection, and now he's an essential piece of Barca's system. Had Nico Williams joined last summer, things could have played out very differently. Raphinha might have lost prominence, finding himself in a rotation role and possibly lacking the confidence that has now turned him into the team's standout player. But reality took another course. Barca put their trust in him, and he has responded with the best season of his career. Now, losing Raphinha would be a huge blow to the team. If there was ever a discussion about selling him, today he is completely untouchable. His ability to create danger, his intensity off the ball, and his leadership in attack have made him irreplaceable in Flick's system. With Raphinha, Barca has a guaranteed attacking threat in every match. Without him, the team would lose its offensive and defensive balance. The real question is, can Raphinha maintain this level for the rest of the season and beyond? If he does, not only will he remain Barca's star player, but he will also enter the race for the Ballon d'Or. What's next for Nico Williams? Alright, I'll admit it, I've been a little harsh on Nico Williams. Despite everything, Nico is still an incredibly talented player. His decline in prominence this season doesn't mean his future is sealed. He's only 22 years old, still developing, and still has massive potential. But the big question remains, what's his next move? While Barcelona no longer seems like a realistic destination, Nico has been linked with Arsenal and other Premier League clubs, teams that are in search of fast, tricky wingers with dribbling ability and the capacity to break down defences. His style could fit well in England, but if he wants to land at an elite club, he first needs to regain his best form. For now, his best option is to continue developing, either at Athletic Club or at a club that allows him to grow without the pressure of being the main star. Aspiring to join Barcelona or another European giant is still possible, but only if he returns to being the unstoppable player he was last season. The talent is there, but football doesn't wait for anyone. It's time for Nico Williams to prove he's more than just a promising player. And while everyone expected him to be a Barcelona superstar this year, Raphinha has silenced the doubters. Against all odds, he has completely exposed and overshadowed Nico Williams.